Replicon Radio is brought to you in part by Lex the Hexmaster and the Shadow Army.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to the sponsor.
Shout out.
Hell yeah. If you want to be a sponsor of Replicon Radio, just shoot us an email. Therepliconiswatching@gmail.com.
Dude, we will say your name so fucking much.
Say my name. Fuck yeah, we will. We love saying people's names, man.
When the Replicon is watching.
But yeah, man, we're back. We're live. There is a new YouTube link up, so make sure you guys share it out. I know, obviously we lost.
I just clicked on it myself, and there is some interesting ad playing on my screen right now.
Yeah, see, this one just boom right there on the home screen of the YouTube.
I don't know if this is a smoker, a barbecue pit, or what, but damn, this thing looks interesting.
Fire pit.
It's an Oni.
Sign up for it, man. Get you one.
What is this? It's a pizza oven.
Hey, then Backyard Boys.
It's like an outside pizza oven.
Fuck yeah, man.
What the? Anyway, all right, moving on. We got shit to do.
That's right. We're back. We're live as we do, man. We have guests. We have special guests.
We do that.
We never really have unspecial guests. We always have special guests, I guess.
Special.
I was at a commercial for Blowman.
There you go.
Oh, all right.
That's because they heard us talking about bisexual stuff earlier.
Yeah, you never know when you want to blow them in.
That has nothing to do with what we're about to do, though. God, cocaine. Take a drink of milk.
Cocaine?
Clean your palate or whatever.
Yeah.
Wash it away.
Yeah.
We have a special guest. Shut up. Let's just jump on into it because we're already getting out of hand.
I can't shut up if I'm going to shout out.
Lord of mercy. Oh, my God. All right, everybody, put your earmuffs on. Don't listen to anything he has to say. We're moving forward with some freshness.
I'm the he. Listen to the guest, not me.
Right. Give it up for our motherfucking guest, DJ Chunk, on the line right now. What's up, brother?
Yo, what is cracking, man? Yo, what is going on with the Replicon family right now?
Well, apparently we're way off the rails immediately.
Yeah,
correct.
Yeah, I was listening and I was like, damn, this is all right. We're going off the rails real early.
We're coming in hot.
It's right off. Yeah. We're excited, man. We're so excited.
Hey, man, that's cool.
We're going. Keep it going. I'll shut up.
Going interesting places.
That's right. I'm sweating already.
I'll shut up.
I'm already sweating.
I'll shut up.
Somebody turn the fan on.
You said that 5 minutes ago and you're still talking.
That was 2.
But yes, man. Everyone, please welcome DJ Chunk, Replicon Radio, man. How the hell are you, man?
Man, I'm good, man. I'm stoked to be here. Stoked to be talking with y'all. Yeah, man, and I'm good. Just on all levels. Like, we're good over here for sure.
How was your Christmas?
Man, it was cool. It was cool, man. Like, I got the time in with the family and stuff. Got a couple pairs of some new sneaks. Yeah, we were good, man. Christmas was good.
Hell yeah,
it's good to hear.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I'm so excited to have you here.
No, man. Hope everybody had a good Christmas out there. All that good stuff. Hope everybody has the good holiday vibes going this week still.
Fuck yeah. Lots of people out there unwrapping that Chapter 17 merch.
Oh, I know. I saw, there was a brand new, jersey that had just gone out in the last couple of days. I've seen people, scooping those up. Yeah, man. There's always, that Chapter 17 stuff. There's always the sauce going out.
Hell yeah. Super fresh. So, what we do here, man, we like to get to know people, man. We want to go back. We want to learn it all. We want to know how it all kind of began, like little Chunk back in the day, if you will. Like,
okay, cool.
What was kind of like just being a kid growing up? Like, what was like your first kind of like? Are you from Utah? Or you just moved to Utah? Like, where did that whole thing? And then like, what was kind of like your first interest in music in general?
No. So I've been from Utah my whole life. I've lived in Utah, kind of like probably 40 minutes, you could say, like 40 minutes south of Salt Lake City. That's kind of where I've always been my whole life. I've moved around since growing older and stuff. I've moved around Utah, but always been out here. And man, like, I was just out here growing up, and as a kid, like, I hit 8 or 9 years old and started hearing like hip hop and rap and stuff like that. And, I was in like 3rd, 4th grade, started hearing rap. And then I think I hit 5th grade, and I was kicking around with like my friends at the time, and we go over to a homie's house, like I'm kicking it with my homie. We're going to his homegirl's house, and there's, the older brother, and he's bumping some tunes and shit. And I just hear this crazy song about like it's a dating game and all this crazy shit. And I'm like, yo, this shit is cool, you know. So like a month later, I'm still, you know, 10 years old or so, and I remembered that track. You know, I'm on the computer digging up music. I'm like, oh, yo, what was that? So I start digging it up, find ICP and shit. And that was kind of the intro into it. You know, I just heard a song one time, and then a month later I started downloading the shit. I was 10 years old. And then by 13, I kind of had like came up and figured out it's like, oh, this is where you peep out the news for ICP, and this is where you find the merch for ICP and all that shit. So, you know, by the time I was like 12 or 13, I was like, okay, kind of had a little grip on it. So yeah, man, just came up.
I was bumping ICP Ned game.
Yeah, man. So yeah, 5th grade, bro. I had heard that track, and like, you know, like I had heard it, and the day I heard it, I was like, oh, this is super cool, you know. And then like a month later, I was like downloading music, and I was like almost searching for kind of like just regular kind of rap, you know. And I was kind of bored with it at that point, even being a young kid. And then I was like, yo, what was that crazy, you know, what was that crazy shit I heard? And I went digging back into it and found it and shit. And that was kind of like the first real intro, because like ever since then, man, like since being an 11, 12-year-old kid, like it was always the carnival, always like ICP, shit like that. Like that was always the number one drive, like with being attached to music and shit like that.
That's crazy. So you were, I mean, so you were basically just a Juggalo almost from birth, right out the gate. Like you didn't even have time to get caught up in other music for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, really, like, you know, when I came up, you know, my mom would play like some rap and R&B in the car, and my dad would play some rock in the car, and those were always kind of the two like influences to music. And then, you know, I'd heard rap for a year or two when I was 8 or 9, and then yeah, like when I found the Clowns, it was like the ultimate like mashup of everything. Like there was some R&B, there was some hard rock, there was a whole new world I hadn't even heard before too, you know. So there was always all sorts of crazy shit with that. But yeah, man, like super young kid found the Clowns, and just yeah, man, like never really switched up out of that either. Like since I was 12, 13, like Juggalo music was always kind of like the main influence to everything.
That's super dope. So being such a young kid, and obviously, especially back in the day, like, you know, Insane Clown Posse wasn't very acceptable. What were your parents' reaction to like little kid Chunk downloading Insane Clown Posse music and listening to it? Like, were they okay with that? Were they cool like that, or?
Yeah, so I mean, it was, you know, like I grew up in a split household type deal. So I was living with one of my parents, and that happened to be my pops. You know, he was into rock and shit like that. So when he kind of like caught any kind of wind of what I was listening to, it was kind of like, all right, like he's listening to some crazy shit. Like I was doing the same exact thing. So I kind of had at least that on my side, where it was that acceptance was there. It maybe wasn't like he was down with it type deal right out the gate. But like, you know, so you know, 11 to 13, I was just bumping it, and the parents were cool with it. You know, they didn't know if it was going to be something that I would listen to forever. But then like, bro, like my pops went with me to my first show. You know, I went, I think Hollowicked 06. That was the first show I'd ever hit in Utah. And my pops went with me, bro. He dug the shit too. So it was easy on that end. Like where one of my parents was like, all right, you know, like they understood it, knew what it was about. They thought the shit was cool. So it was easy kind of for me in the gate, you know, like out the gate, my parents both knew like about rock, knew about crazy shit, and they were cool with it.
Hell yeah, that's cool. Yeah, you know, especially with like Utah, man, like the Mormon capital or whatever it is, like.
Yeah, man, because it was crazy too. Like Utah, I had no clue. You know, I was a 12, 13-year-old kid, and like, you know, I had started bumping the Clowns in like 5th, 6th, 7th grade, and then I went to junior high, and like, you know, shit was business as usual, and I roll up to junior high like wearing the shirts, wearing the hoodies, stuff like that. And then in junior high, like, the security guard of the school pulls you out, and they're like, yo, this is gang affiliated. And that was back when, like, you know, some of the only gang states were like Utah, Arizona, Nevada, New Mexico, like, because back in the day there was only like 4 or 5 states where it was truly gang related, you know. And then 2012 hit or whatever, and the whole FBI shit took off. Then it was gang related everywhere, and you would get pulled over for a sticker. But it was always like that in Utah, you know. So even as a little kid, as soon as I hit 8th grade and they told me gang related, I was like, what? And then, like, put it all together, I was like, bro, this shit is crazy.
You're like, it's just wicked clowns, man. What are you talking about, dude?
Yeah, man. They were dicks at school too, because then I remember, like, even the security guard was like, yo, if you ain't got a hatchet man on, like, we won't worry about it. And, like, bro, then when that, you know, same kind of case came up where I was just rocking a clown print with no hatchet man, they would still pull you aside. And it was like, bro, fuck y'all.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
But yeah, man, I mean, that was the come up, like, straight up out here in Utah. It was always that come up of, like, being gang related or whatever the case may be.
Terrible. So being so young and into, you know, going to clown shows and being into the Juggalo scene, were you, like, inspired to be a rapper? Like, a lot of people, especially that time, you know, they want to be ICP, they want to be Twisted, they want to be the next, you know, group on Psychopathic, especially when you're that young. Like, were you ever aspired to be an artist in that, right? Or what kind of led you to the DJ portion of that?
Man, I mean, like, to be real, like, still even to this day, there's always those thoughts of, like, yo, you could be this, you could be that. But for me, man, like, I was just bumping the shit, and really, like, the first show I ever went to, Hollowicked 06, like, I was so young, I didn't even know those cats had a current DJ. So, like, the show started and I saw, like, Clay up there DJing, and I, like, that was when it kind of hit me. I'm like, yo, like, it doesn't have to be only rappers in the scene. Like, there can be a DJ in the back just doing his thing. And, like, I had never seen DJing ever in my life. So it was kind of that too, where I saw somebody cutting and I was like, yo, this shit is tight, man. And so then, you know, over time, like, I'd always heard people scratching, or I'd see a DJ scratch live at a show, and, like, I don't know, man, like, that shit always hit harder than me than, like, just seeing somebody rap type shit. So, you know, over time, like, it was just a love for the culture, love for the scene. And then somewhere when I was about 15, 16, I knew I wanted a DJ. I was like, yo, I love scratching, like, I love the element it plays into the whole everything. So it was kind of that. So then at 16, I, like, really started paying attention to it. And then at, like, 17 or so, I had a setup and started just practicing. It was all Juggalo shit I was practicing, kind of all around to just hip hop. But yeah, man, like, early on, it was just like, yo, I want a DJ. But, you know, there's always times too where, like, you know, I see what rappers do and I see what DJs do, but, man, I mean, really, I'll always fall in place to being a DJ, 100%.
That's what's up. That's dope, though. I mean, it's just, you know, a lot of kids, especially, you know, you're young in the audience, that you don't pay attention, whether it's the drummer in the band or the DJ in the back. Like, most people are looking at the guy at the forefront. That's cool that you, like, notice that as a child.
Yeah, like, and I would give it up to, like, you know, 90% of a crowd is always going to be looking at that front man, but then you're going to have a couple cats over here, you know, this dude over here, this chick over here. Like, you're going to have some people watching, like, the bass player and the drum player and the DJ and shit. And, like, I was just one of those small percentages who was like, bro, like, and of course I was still watching the front guys type stuff. But there was something about, like, the DJ side that, like, man, it seemed cool. Like, you could be a part of it without being the main dude kind of deal too, was also the appeal.
For sure. So was it, like, what was it that kind of, like, obviously as a kid, you know, now you know what you're doing. You're legendary DJ Chunk in the building, but
thank you, sir.
Just seeing it, like, and as you start to learn more and more, like, even at that point, a lot of people would go towards the production side, you know what I mean? Which would still, sometimes you could be the DJ as well as the producer. Like, what was kind of the process of, like, going from, you know, watching a clown show or a hip-hop show or whatever it is to, like, okay, I'm gonna take the steps to go buy tables, or did you want to do production first and you tried it and didn't like it? Like, what kind of was the process to get you to where you're like, okay, this is for real, I love this is what I'm gonna do?
Yeah. So, man, I mean, true shit. And I kind of skipped over a part of the story. I always skip over this part of the story, but so really out the gate, it was DJing. Like, I wanted to DJ. So when I was 16, I was like 15 or 16, I'd gotten my first setup ever. They were just two CDJs and a mixer. I had that shit for a month, and then I'd like kind of an ex-old friend who came in the mix. My house got fucking robbed. I lost my first setup. So, like, shit kind of went haywire out the gate. Like, I wanted to DJ, then I got robbed, and, like, I was kind of in a weird place, you know, like, life got fucked up for a second, and then I kind of went back to the idea of wanting to DJ, and, like, didn't have the setup, saved up money again, bought the first setup. So it was like, I kind of, like, I'd went to base one, it had got ripped away, and then I had to go, you know, make the decision, like, do I really want to do this shit? So when I bought the second setup and it was the true, like, time to start, I was like, all right, this is what I want to do. Like, I had just finished high school, like, I happened to graduate early, so I had a bunch of time, like, where I could just fuck off and do anything I wanted for like a year type shit. So that was kind of the intro. I was like, yo, do I really want this shit? And that's always kind of been the fuel to it. Like, you know, even nowadays, I don't even think about that shit, but it is still like driving force and kind of an early motivator where it's like, you know, like I had this shit ripped away at one point and I still, you know, chose to fucking follow this and chose to do it. But so out the gate, man, it was really just cuts, you know, like really all I wanted to do was cuts. Every time I heard scratching, shit like that, all I wanted to do was cut. So I had to go through all this bullshit right off the top. You know, went through the first setup, getting taken, got a second setup, and then, you know, I got the second setup and I was 17 and just started DJing in the bedroom where it was simple, just learning patterns, learning music, learning stuff like that, and then moved up to, you know, a CDJ and one turntable, and then two turntables and an old mixer, and then two turntables and a digital mixer, and like, you know, just kind of went through all the levels of the shit. But yeah, I mean, and I've fucked, like, nowadays, like, being this deep into it, I fucked with production a little bit, and like I'll dabble in it here and there just to kind of keep growing the skills of producing, learning beats and stuff like that. But for me now, knowing where like the skill strength is at, like me just focusing more on cuts than anything kind of seems to be the strong move. Because there's cats who only focus on beats, and there's cats who only focus on rapping, and like it's always kind of been my outlook that like a person who, you know, only does one thing, you're gonna be way better at doing that one thing than being like, you know, cool at doing two things. You know, it's like you can be cool at doing two things, or you can be like extreme at doing that one type shit.
No, absolutely. And yeah. I guess to get way ahead of ourselves, like you said, you used, you know, you went through the different things. So what are you currently doing? Like, do you scratch vinyl? You do Serato? Or are you doing digital? Like, what are you doing now currently?
So it's mostly Serato. Like when I go on the road, like, and I'm doing a tour, I'm on a controller board, so it's on a different program than Serato, but it's kind of the same exact thing. It's a digital program that uses, you know, I always compare it to these DJ programs are an Xbox and the turntables are the Xbox controller. You know, the computer is the program, these DJ boards are the Xbox controller. You know, that's like the closest way I can explain it to people who aren't DJs, like what the system is and what it does. So right now, like at home when I record and I'm cutting on records, it's mostly Serato. Like I might have a record pop up where I straight sample the record, and I can easily just turn the system from using Serato to using an old school record type shit. When I'm recording, I never use my digital tour setup. Like I just use that for touring. It's good because it's portable for flying and shit like that. But yeah, when I'm at home, like all recording, all like cuts that you hear on anybody's records, like all that shit plays off Serato.
Dope. So, I guess kind of get back to the story. So you everything got taken away, which I'm sure a lot of people, not the same situation, but similar situations. I mean, that's depleting, especially when it's something you had to build up to, but obviously it solidified your love for what it was, and you're back into it. So then, like, what was, like, it's, I guess at any age really, but especially at such a young age, like, what's the goal? When you're like, okay, I'm going to be a DJ, are you just trying to get club gigs? Where you wanted to be like a, Tiesto or you know what I'm saying, Skrillex or something?
Yeah,
like, what was the goal there?
No, I mean, back then, bro, it was like, it was to essentially be like, because all the scene had ever known is like a strict DJ. Like the scene had only known like Clay back in the day, like Clay was the only DJ. Mikey Clark, like he cut and he did a little bit of like manipulation of sounds, but he wasn't really like a DJ type shit. Like he was a producer. So like when I saw Clay doing his thing, I was like, yo, like, it doesn't have to be only one DJ. So it was always kind of that position of just like the house DJ. But even then, like when I first came up, I was like, yo, Salt Lake City could just have that DJ type shit. And I like, by the time I was 17 or so, like I'd gone to shows for years in Salt Lake, and like there was one or two crews opening up shows here in Salt Lake, and and Salt Lake in general like really hasn't had a big like catalog of locals, like there's always been like one group that pops up every 4 years type shit. So I just kind of figured, I was like, yo, Salt Lake City could have like the DJ who just kind of opens and shit like that. So that was kind of like my early thoughts of what it could be. It was just like, yo, Salt Lake City could have a DJ as an opener. Like it doesn't have to be rappers, it could just be a DJ playing cool shit.
Hell yeah. So it's just crazy you were just so into like the Juggalo scene, the underground scene, like even just aspiring to be a DJ. It wasn't like you didn't want to like be in the clubs. You were just like, you just wanted to cater to the Juggalos like from the get. Like that was the whole thing, huh?
Yeah, for sure. I was DJing in my bedroom, just kind of practicing and shit like that. And like I had homies who weren't Juggalos growing up and shit. So I was like, I think I was 18, 19 at the time, and I was just kind of on my practice grind. Like I'd never performed, I'd never posted, I wasn't on social media, shit like that. So I had homies who started producing like boom bap records and shit like that. They were doing golden era hip hop, kind of trap shit. And my homies hit me up. They had kind of heard through just friends, like word of mouth. They're like, yo, fucking Chunk DJs now. He went back to that shit. He DJs, he lives here, he DJs. So I had a couple homies, I was doing my own thing. They're like, yo, let's go, let's kick it. Let's go grab some food. Let's talk type shit. So I went and talked with these homies. They're doing boom bap. They just want some cuts on their records. So I started cutting on these dudes' records. They're called The Outsiders. So I started cutting on like boom bap, like no Juggalo shit at all. I start cutting on boom bap. And I'm doing that. I do a record with these guys, and then they want to start performing. And like I start performing with these cats for like 6 months. We start picking up big shows, Mad Child, fucking Artifacts, Living Legends. Like we had done some bigger shows type shit, even being so early into the game. Like the whole time I was doing that shit, like, I knew why I wanted to DJ was for Juggalo, you know, the Juggalo scene, Juggalo fucking music, but I was doing this, like, 90s boom bap type shit. And, like, so quickly out the gate, I was like, man, like, I broke away and kind of, I hit up a group who was putting on, like, bar shows, and, like, a couple openers were tapped in with this group of Juggalos. And I'd hit them up. We start doing bar shows, and that was kind of like how I started doing local shit in Salt Lake City for Juggalo shit. I kind of broke off the boom bap scene, went into the Juggalo shit, got back to, like, what I really wanted to do, you know, because, like, the boom bap shit was cool, and it proved to me, like, I could go into a new crowd and impress a new crowd just based on the hip hop skills. But then they would see the Hatchet Man hanging, and they would kind of be like, wait, what? Like, it was always that weird shit too with boom bap. So that's kind of what I wanted to, like, get away from it too.
Yeah. So you did the thing with the Outsiders, and then you're just kind of building your name as a DJ in the Juggalo scene, and in the music scene in general in Salt Lake City.
Yeah, and I mean that shit was so, like, you know, baby steps. Even at that point, like, that was such, like, even at the point of leaving and it wasn't even leaving the crew, but it was like, this is what I'm gonna do. But yeah, man, I mean, like, fuck, back then, dude, it was so, like, didn't even have a clue what the next move was gonna be, or, like, what I was just kind of, like, floating and learning.
Sure. So with that, you're solidifying your name in your area. You're obviously good at what you do at this point. People are, you know, having you in their groups, and you're getting gigs and things like that. What was kind of the next step? I know you did. What is the live sports thing? You started doing stuff with that.
Oh man, shit, that's crazy. Y'all even know about that. So that's some shit. The sports thing is, like, that's my actual job. And I've been doing that since, like, before I was even DJing. I think, man, like, no. So, yeah, I started DJing in high school. I leave high school, and I'm DJing and shit. And I start training in this job type shit. Like, most of the time you have to go to college for this shit, but I happen to know somebody who's in the business. So the sports thing, I do replays and editing. Like, if you're watching an NBA game and when they go to break, you see fucking this dude just kick somebody's ass doing 3 buckets, and they put it together. Like, I do that kind of shit where it's like I put replays and slow motion, cool stuff together. But that's been my job, like, behind the scenes for years, bro. Like, so I do that, and then I DJ in my free time.
That's dope. So are you doing that on big things like NBA? Like, you're doing replays and editing for?
Yeah, man. Like, so I do that shit for the local Utah team. I was in Colorado covering some snowboarding, and that shit's gonna be. Oh man, that shit was on NBC yesterday. You know, that shit was on one of your major channels. Like, the shit that I was the main dude telling people what to do on, like, that shit was on NBC yesterday. So that's kind of my job, like, in my free time.
Well, that's dope.
Yeah, so and it's fun, it's cool. The bonus thing with that is it's not a Monday through Friday 9 to 5. It's kind of like I work events, so it leaves me open to go DJ events type shit, you know. I'm not, like, tied to Monday to Friday. Like, I can build my schedule, leave myself open. I can do, you know, really whatever I want with my schedule a lot of times.
That's cool. And you said that you were doing that right at the same time you started, like, high school days?
So right as soon as I got out of high school. Like, I got out of high school, true shit, like, in high school I was just slanging. Got out of high school I was just slanging, and then, like, I moved away. Like, I lived around my area for about a year out of high school, and then I moved. And I wasn't trying to fucking pull no bullshit no more, you know. I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna start learning how to make money, not fucking illegally type shit.
Right.
So yeah, that was kind of that shit. Like, I just moved away. Somebody found, like, a way I could get into a new job. And I was like, yo, I was like, fuck it, this shit sounds cool. It seems like it could work schedule wise for what I want to do. And I just I had to drop what I was doing too and just like find new fucking avenues.
No, hell yeah, that's super dope. Especially straight out of high school. I mean, I feel like that's something people would go to a lot of schooling for to get a position.
Yeah, I mean, like true shit. I know other people who do that, and that it takes 3 or 4 years, and it's like I was like doing some street shit. I started learning it, dropped the street shit, and like went straight to work type shit, and was just doing music in my free time. So like it was just kind of a weird kind of morph or transformation. It was a weird fucking time.
That's So what kind of happened? Like, what kind of led to? I mean, I guess as far I don't know. I don't know the story. So from leaving the Outsiders, doing your own thing, building a name for yourself. What was kind of the next big thing for DJ Chunk? Like, what was the
man? So it was really kind of like it was this. I always call it like a purgatory or just this weird kind of place and time. But so I was just doing my shit in life. I was working. And like I said, I met this crew who like do bar shows, and like, one homie was a local Juggalo opener. So like I was just kicking it with this crew, and then like I became friends with a lot of these cats, and we started going to gatherings, and like we went to the Oklahoma gathering, and fucking I just kick it and camp with the crew, and I'm like the DJ cat. There's one other homie who DJs, but he's like on a whole different wavelength type shit. So like I was kind of the DJ for the crew, kicking it with them, all that shit. So I go to the Oklahoma gathering with the crew. I'm doing Salt Lake City shows with these people. And then like somewhere, I can't remember, it was like January, I'm like doing a show, and they offer us to go to Reno. And my homies like didn't want to make it happen. They had some personal bullshit going on. And I'm like, yo, the thing with Reno is there's this crew down there. So if we go fuck with Reno, like they might have love for us. So I pushed for it extra hard. I wanted to go kick it with the Reno Riders. So I go make that show happen in Reno. It was a dirtball show. We go make the show happen. I meet the crew. We're all cool. Go back to Salt Lake, life is normal. Then we go to Whoopstock at 2018 or whatever, and these fools are doing their party, and the DJ doesn't show up type shit. And I would take my setup to the gathering just for like us at camp. Like I would just DJ for the fucking homies at camp. I'd be doing my mixes, like I'd be doing all that shit just for the Salt Lake City family. So Reno's party is about to go to shit, and they're like, yo, if we don't have a DJ, we can't do a party. So I show up, do their party. I'm nervous as shit. This is my first like huge Juggalo event. Like I've opened as been an opener on Juggalo events, but like DJing at the gathering, this shit to me was like the first real like, oh fuck moment. So I DJ the party. They tell me Ouija Mac's gonna probably show up, and he's the surprise guest of the shit. So Ouija shows up. Me and him chop it down for like 5 minutes. Me and him like right out the gate, bro. We just hit it off. Like we knew what song. I told him he went to hand me a CD. He's hands me a CD with the set on it, and I'm like, bro, I can't use this. Like with the DJ setup I had, like I couldn't take a CD. So what we did was we like created we just picked out songs and created a set, and like that kind of like created this freedom of like, oh shit, with the DJ you can do whatever the fuck we want, like at any show. You ain't gotta play the 4 songs at every single show. You can play whatever fucking songs you want, bro. So I do the Reno Riders party. I meet Luigi. We kind of do this freestyle set, and like that was the end of it type shit. And then the party, you know, I'm chilling back at my house in like October of 2018, and Luigi hits me up, and it's like, yo, like, I could use the DJ type shit, like how we did at the gathering. And that was kind of like what opened up the world, man. Was doing that fucking gathering party is what cracked it off 100%.
That's crazy. That's dope. That was that the purple party or whatever, wasn't it? Or the following?
I forget.
It was like a big old name. I remember they did 2 of them. So
yeah, I forget what the name of the party was in that one. Cause
I'm pretty sure we were there drinking something somewhere.
Yeah, like they did a party in Oklahoma that I had just attended, and then I did the party. Yeah, I did the party at Woopstock, but then they also did a party at the Super Gathering too. So I forget which party it was. But I just DJ'd the whole bitch. You know, like, to me, it was usual DJ biz. Like, I DJ'd for all the openers in between, but then Ouija Mac was going to show up. And then, like, me and Ouija just hit it off, bro. Like, right out to the gate. You know, we talked for 2 minutes, set up a set, and then we killed a fucking set together, and we just kind of knew, like, yo, we have a good flow together type shit. We didn't even know each other at all. And we just kind of had a good vibe going between, like, talking and shit, but then also on stage, it was, like, kind of instant. I knew what he was thinking type shit. Like, he could look back and say, not even have to say, like, yo, end the song. Like, I just know that shit from DJ experience, you know? So that was kind of the crazy shit, too. Like, me and Ouija just straight fucking kind of spoke each other's language right out the gate.
Hell yeah, that's dope. So you did that. You guys hit it off. You killed it. You went back home, and just out of the blue, a few months later, he just hit you up and was like,
"Bro, it was crazy, man. Yeah, for real. Like, man, that's the coolest shit. Because there's no like fuckery or fakery with that part of the story. Like, I was sitting here, we did the gathering. I forget what it was that year, if it was July or August. But I'm sitting here in like fucking September, and like, I'm sitting down for dinner, and all of a sudden, like, my phone's in my pocket, and the shit just starts like, boop, 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 like it's got a heartbeat. My phone just explodes, bro. And everybody was hitting me up, and like on Facebook, Ouija Mac posted he was looking for the gathering DJ, and I was just straight mind blown. That was kind of the first like time anybody's like blown my shit up or anything like that. I was just like, yo, what the fuck? Because I was just, like back then, bro, it was all baby steps for me. I had I was just doing Juggalo music and a Juggalo cutting type shit. Like, I wasn't in any way like DJ Chunk is popping or like this is how it's gonna go. Like, bro, I was just baby steps back then.
That's dope, though. I mean, you say back then, but that was like 3 years ago.
Yeah, bro. I mean, that's the crazy. I always trip on that shit too. Like, some of the shit with me is like, this shit wasn't planned or expected. So like, back in the day when I was a young cat, you saw these like moves being like projected, and like people had these moves in their mind for years. And it's like, dude, I just fucking like happen to make this shit work, so I'm still like trying to come up on my shit. And now, like, nowadays is where it's starting to change into kind of that stronger shit where I know how to look ahead. But like, back then, bro, like, come on, man, like the shit even popping off was amazing.
Oh, that's super dope. That's so he was just tagged. He literally had no idea who you were. He was like, who's that dude that was at the party? And people just started tagging you, so your shit started blowing up.
Yeah, straight up. Because
like, hey, it's me in the comments. It's me.
Yeah, no, like, man, I remember the Facebook. Post said, "Who was got JDJ SOS?" is what the fucking Facebook post said. And then like the Reno cats were the ones who hit me on it, and then quickly, like, my phone blew up, and 2 minutes later I was responding saying like, yo, how do I get a hold? Boom, we got messages, we got numbers exchanged within 5 minutes of my phone buzzing.
That's wild. So you're at home in Utah freaking out because Ouija Mac's calling you on the phone. Like, so,
oh, bro, I was blown the fuck up. Like, the people next to me, like, didn't even know what language I was speaking when I said Ouija Mac or any of that shit.
Right.
They were like, what the fuck are you talking about? And, like, and bro, like, straight up, you know, before I met Ouija, like, I don't really stress this or I don't say this shit to people a lot, but, like, you know, fuck, bro, before I met Ouija, I was sitting here slanging and shit like that, and I was listening to Swag Tooth. And man, I'll keep it real 1,000%. And I take pride in it nowadays. Like, bro, I would skip over the other motherfuckers' verses back in the day. And I would just skip to Ouija shit because I fucked with dude's verses. And I fucked with his lyrics, like, all that shit. And then, you know, when they said, like, bro, you can DJ for him at this party, I was like, dog, like, down 1,000%. Like, I already fucked with this cat.
He's like, what, Tooth Gang? Oh,
yeah, so before me and homie even ever met, bro, like, he was a G in my mind. Like, he had lyrics, had like a good flow. So like, it wasn't even like kind of for me like, do you want to do it? Like, could it be cool? I was like, yo, I fuck with this cat 1,000% out the gate.
That's dope. So
yeah.
So what was the conversation? Like, how did that go? Like, how was the conversation? He's like, you want to go on tour? You want to be there? Like,
yeah,
how did it kind of start? Like,
that's where it was kind of like, you know, a prove yourself moment. Like, what do you want to do? Because homie's out on tour doing his thing, you know. So it's like for him to just be like, all right, I'm gonna fucking pick you up and carry you, bro, type shit. You know, like it ain't like that. So he hollered at me. He's like, yo, I'm going to need a DJ type shit for these events. Here we go. So I hollered back. There was a couple I couldn't do. I'm like, yo, how about we do this? And I met up. I did like, I forget. I did 4 or 5 West Coast dates on a Hollow Wicked tour. Just kind of like, you know, test the waters type shit. So me and him do like, I forget, 3 to 5 like Hollow Wicked dates back in the day. And then we went to Kenosha and we rocked a show together. And that was where we were like straight headliner, solo. I ran merch. Like, it was just kind of testing the team and like shit, you know, it went good. Everything was smooth. And after that, it was like, yo, bro, you want to go do the fuck off motherfucker tour? And that was really like, when I got the call to go do the Shaggy tour, I was like, yo, like, we're now about to go fucking do 36 days of work type shit, doing DJ work. So that was really kind of what busted it open. We did like 3, I forget, man, for real, I forget how many shows we did, but we did like 5 Hollow Wicked shows, did a Kenosha show, and it was pretty much locked in at that point. It was like, yo, bro, come do the Joey tour, come rock this shit. And then, I mean, by the time the Shaggy tour was over, like, we were brothers, you know?
Hell yeah. That's so dope, man. That's crazy. Your first Juggalo show was a Hollow Wicked show, and then your first tour as a Juggalo artist was Hollow Wicked.
Well, so man, it could have been so fucking dope, bro. So my first show was about to be the Shaggy 06 Fuck the Fuck Off tour. But I was like 12 or 13, and I had gotten in trouble for fucking something at school. I had gotten in trouble for a fight or for grades or something stupid, dude. And I remember I was pissed as fuck they wouldn't let me go to the tour. Like, it was straight up on some school shit. I couldn't go to the concert because I was fucking off at school. So it almost would have been, first tour was Fuck the Fuck Off, and then first, like, performing on a tour would have been Fuck the Fuck Off motherfucker, but it just didn't line up, bro. Like, it was so close, but it just didn't line up.
Either way, it's still super dope.
But nah, either way, nah, straight up, because yeah, like, went to Hollow Wicked, and now I've played Hollow Wickeds, bro, and it's crazy to look back on that shit.
That's so dope, man. It's so,
yeah.
I love seeing that shit, man, and like, I love like seeing your shit on Facebook when you like post it up you little kid chunk hanging out in front of St. Andrews.
Yeah, bro, man, I'm about to take that shit somewhere too. Like straight up jugged out since Cub Scouts. I'm gonna really I'm gonna do some art. I'm gonna do some crazy shit with that because there's so many cats who vibe on that. Where it's like, I never show hate. Like you ain't have to be down since you're 10 years old to me type shit. But I know there's the crew of cats who found the shit when they were 10 years old. So like jugged out since Cub Scouts, like it always just makes the hair stand up type shit to me.
No, it's fresh to see, for sure.
Yeah, no, I'm glad cats dig it too.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I was jugging probably before you was born because I'm an old man, but it's cool.
Yeah, man, hey, I always pay my respects, but nah, man, like. Because for me, I was born early 90s, so like for a cat to be, early 90s and even figuring it out at 10, like is crazy. But bro, man, it's different in all this world, man. I know cats who were down at 7 years old and it was 1996 type shit, it's just different every time.
It's dope to see. What did this guy say? Nobody, man, wanted to say thank you. The Orange Clown sends love. I guess you and Luigi made him a video because he missed a show and he wants to thank you.
Cool. No, that's my boy. He's a local supporter and just like almost a mascot of like Salt Lake City type shit. He's just a homie from Salt Lake City, so that's my boy. Whoop, whoop.
Whoop. Hell yeah. So you go out on, like, what was that like? Like, just a kid who loves Juggalos. You do these few dates. You're on tour with a psychopathic artist. Like, where was your mind? Like, were you freaking out?
So I mean, I was blown the fuck away because like straight up what we did was that was a full national tour, but like when they hit the West Coast, they did like, I forget, they did 3 dates in Colorado and another date somewhere else. So I basically jumped in my car from Utah and did all of Colorado. And I was just blown the fuck away, man. Like, there was other steps and shit to those shows, but like just hopping on, that was like, I'd opened for ICP and I'd opened for other artists just being a solo dude. But now it was like, like I'm standing next to the newest psychopathic artist and I'm his dude, I'm his DJ. So to me it was fucking crazy, bro. Like, cause we were hopping in venues that were like 15, 2,000, 2,500 sold, close to sold out type shit. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? So it was crazy to me. Like, we did those first couple shows and it like unraveled my fucking brain. And then we did another show where we were headliners and it blew my brain. And then like I hopped on to, I had toured around, you could say, like with locals. I had gone to Wyoming next door and I'd gone to Idaho next door and I'd gone to Oregon and Washington. Like, I'd played out of state before I toured, but like the first time I toured with Luigi and like Shaggy and shit like that, bro, it was fucking insane to hop on a bus. Like, my wig was flipped the fuck back.
Right, that's a whole new world.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I had done the shit, sleeping in cars, being in a van, like, just going and doing another date. Like, no shit where we did 2 weeks, but like I played out of state. I'd had a taste of it, but bro, to hop on a full tour like early out the gates was just straight mind blowing.
That's so dope. Reno Riders is in the chat. I said midnight midway masquerade madness party. Yeah, I knew it was a long ass name. Jesus. Okay,
yeah, that was 2018 at the Super Gathering, because I want to say that was 2018, because 2019 I forget what it was called, but man, them cats always got my love. Like, I just did my party at the gathering, and like, them fools, they did the slap contest, and I wasn't about to show up and be like calling it my slap contest, because that's their shit, and they're my boys. I was like, yo, y'all got to come up here to my party and host the shit,
That's so dope.
So them dudes, like, they always got my love, 100%.
That's the shit to see. Shit like that's so cool, man. So like, just kind of staying where we are. Being a Juggalo since you were 10 years old, you're obviously you're a huge fan of ICP. You traveled for concerts. You want to be a Juggalo DJ.
Yep.
Then you link up with Luigi. And then you're on tour with Shaggy Too Dope. Like, was that your first time meeting Joey not as a fan? Like,
yeah, no, 100% for real, because I had done there have been times where I'd accidentally bumped into him just being outside the gates, I think American Psycho was the first time they kind of really offered VIP, and I'd hit that shit. I was like, yo, this shit's cool. That was the one time I did it. It was cool. So I'd met those cats once or twice. I did gathering, waiting in line for the autographs type shit. Did that 2 or 3 times, met them that way. But it's a different thing, bro. It's a different thing. So, doing the tour, man, it's a whole nother nature of the beast. So I get on the tour and it's a prove yourself kind of moment. And luckily for me with Shaggy, that dude's a DJ. When ICP started, he was the DJ, Joe was the fucking rapper. So that fool loves that shit 100%. He will school you on DJing, he will school you on old school DJs and shit. So the first couple days he was just trying to kind of feel me out and see what I know about DJing. And he knew I didn't know all this fucking 1991 DJs. I don't know that shit. I know the cats from 2000 and up. But he understood what I fucked with about DJing and what I kind of was about at the time. So out the gate, me and him got together and he knew I fucked with strict kind of core principles of DJing. So I was just lucky, man, on that Shaggy tour. He showed me so much of old school DJing, and he was always when I back in the day when I first saw an ICP DJ like Clay, a lot of what plays into that is hearing Joey's cuts on the records and hearing Mike's cuts on the records and fucking all that shit, so going on that tour, bro, blew my fucking wig. But it was cool because pretty quick out the gate, man, Joey had never met me, but I forget, dog, day 3 or 4 on the tour, we kind of had a scratch battle at a sound check. And that's when everything was cool, bro, because the homies saw, and it was all fun, just homies kicking it, but just got to cut with Joey. We did that day 3, and then day 4 we had another DJ show up. So then it was me, Carlito, Joey, this other DJ. We just had a straight fucking scratch battle for 40 minutes, and so it kind of that was really what locked me into on that tour was all right, we're cool, the DJs are cool, fucking everybody's just vibing now at this point.
That's sick. That's one of those fucking call your mom moments.
Yeah, bro.
Mom, I just had a scratch battle with Shaggy Too Dope on tour.
Yeah, man. It was cool, because straight up the vibe, the way it went, I'm on a digital gig, digital rig type shit, and Shaggy's not used to that. Shaggy comes from vinyl, strict vinyl, not even Serato, just vinyl. So, we cut it up on the digital rig, and he's yeah, that's cool, I see what it's about, but fuck all that shit. But he's but let me see what you can do with it. And I do this old shit, I call it the alphabet beat, and it's some shit where it goes slow and then fast and then fast and faster, and he gave me the time to just peep out what I could do with that shit. And he knew, as soon as I dropped that beat, he was oh, fuck. And I killed it, and ever since that day, bro, we've been mad cool because he knows I can put it down on the DJ level.
That's awesome, man. That shit's so fucking dope.
Yeah, man. And that's some shit, I don't really tell people about. I don't really share, my closest homies know that shit. But yeah, man, just back seeing fucking sound fucking check stories of like, that's why me and people are cool, is because of some fun shit at sound check, you know?
Hell yeah. Well, no, I mean, yeah, that's how shit's done. But at the same time, it's just dope, like hearing your story and knowing, you know what I mean? Like, it's the type of shit that makes my soul happy that you got to experience that shit, being little kid.
Yeah, man, like, because I mean,
we are now.
Yeah, like even as a kid, man, like, you know, and it's still to this day, it's the same shit, bro. Like, I'm just a juggalo who's fucking kind of found a way through this shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, anytime an album drops, you know, from the Clowns, I'm still on the same side of the fence as everybody else. Like, bro, I'm just happy to hear the new album the day it drops and like all that shit, you know, like, so like it's cool for me to be a part of this shit in a certain way, but then in other aspects, it's like, bro, I'm just like everybody else. Like, I'm just happy as soon as the new album drops, like, and all that shit, you know what I'm saying? But, and the cool shit is, like, nowadays I get to be on that side of the fence with Luigi type shit, you know, where it's like, dog, this whole month of December, all I've done is fucking worked on Luigi tracks this whole month.
Hell yeah. Yeah, see, that shit's, that's awesome, man. So,
yeah.
so I guess getting up to so you go out on tour, you're doing your thing. Obviously, you guys become homies. Everything works out great.
Yeah.
So then what? So what's the conversation after that? From being like, let's give this a try to, what is it now? Like you're scratching on albums. You're officially Luigi's DJ as far as I know. So like, what was kind of the conversation after that?
Man, so I mean, because yeah, it is another part of the story type shit. So you could say like, you know, we did the Shaggy tour in early of 2019, and you know, even in that sense, I was still only 2.5 years into recording on records. Like, I was still learning how to record on records, how to do cuts in that sense and shit. Like, I knew how to do live show records and like scratches, shit like that, but cutting on like somebody's album's a little bit different. So we finished that tour, you know, we do Juggalo Day in New Orleans type shit. It's all on the live show vibes. And it's pretty much still that, where it's like, it's just live show. I'm doing live show. And man, I think we get up to, I forget, we get up to about Wasteland, which is probably like, you know, for us working on the music, it's months before the shit is released. So somewhere in 2020, he hits me up and he's like, yo, like, I want to do this on a record. This is what the vibe is. This is what we're talking about. And like, I'd done this with homies before. So then it was like, boom, you know, like I do my side of shit, what I think would sound cool, put it on the record, do it in my way, send it back to him for approval. And it was like, boom, cool. Like, I fuck with that 1000%. So it was kind of like what I was already doing with Locals type shit on their records. As soon as I kind of did that same format, like do what I think is cool, show it to him for approval. Once it's approved, I send it back. That was kind of the step into it. And like, we had did 2 tracks, and then on another record, we did like fucking, I forget, we did like 3 or 4 tracks, and that shit got kind of spaced out. So that was kind of the start into it, was like just doing 1 or 2, you know, cuts on like Wasteland, and then I did 2 cuts on probably Resistance 2 or somewhere there. Couple cuts on Pretty Ugly 2, and then, you know, like, dog, I just knocked out like probably 10 tracks this month or something for homie. So it kind of grew into that, where it was like, okay, you're cool to do the live show, but like now we want the real DJ shit on records. So that was kind of that transition. Like, it took a year and shit like that. And I think also like we would be kicking it on tours and doing shows, and I would bump what I'd done for other cats. And that, you know, he would hear that shit and be like, bro, like, why are we not doing this on these releases, you know? So that was kind of the intro to that.
Hell yeah. So I mean, I guess is it safe to say you're part of the group now? I mean, if Ouija Mac was a group, you're the second member.
I mean, I would always say it like in this sense, like, because Ouija Mac is just like, he's himself. Always, like, you know, when you hear Ouija Mac, he's a solo MC, kind of in like one light, you know, like, I don't know how to explain that, but like, anytime you see that fool live, I'm gonna be next to him type shit. Anytime you hear a record and there's gonna be a DJ, like, I'm gonna be that DJ. So like, it's basically what you're saying is yes, yeah. Like, I would say 1,000%, yeah. You know, pretty much anytime you see Ouija Mac, DJ Chunk is gonna be there on Ouija Mac, you know, records. DJ Chunk is gonna be the one cutting.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, like 100% with, you know, pretty much what you're saying. Yeah, basically.
I like the way you said yeah. He's like, yeah. That's like a dope ass proud yeah. Like,
yeah. That's my natural.
He's squinting his eyes and going, yeah.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, even if somebody said, yo, you want to go get food, I'd be like, yeah. Yeah, like, bro, that's my natural habitat.
Shit, what are you talking? Hell yeah.
Yeah, you know, and I only say, like, with, you know, like, I always just try to keep it 100% official because, you know, Ouija Mac is his own, like, fucking individual MC type deal. Like, it would be like, I wouldn't call ICP, you know, Joe, Joey, and Clay. You know, like, when you get Clay with ICP, it's Clay with ICP.
For sure. But there was a time that ICP even said Mikey Clark was the third member. When they announced,
right before they announced suing the FBI, when they were like, yo, what do you think the new biggest announcement ever is? And I was like, yo, it's got to be that they're adding a third member, and it's got to be either Mike or fucking Clay. Like, that's totally what I thought that shit was. And then they came out talking about FBI. I was just like, what? You know, I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah, like, I totally assumed it was official third member type shit.
Right, that'd be dope though. So, is there something in the realm of ever seeing a DJ Chunk record as a Psychopathic Chapter 17 release?
Bro, so I mean, as hard as, you know, as long as people will push for it, like, god damn, the shit could happen. But nah, so like, on that subject of shit, we had Shit for Brains drop like a few months ago, and that was something I was just trying to remember earlier too. Like, I don't know if Ouija hit me up saying like, let's do this kind of record, or if I suggested to him like, let's do this kind of record. But like, I started working on the Shit for Brains thing, and you know, like 50 Shades of Dead had dropped 2 years before or something like that, and I wasn't a part of that project. Like, I had no play in that. All I know of it was that it had a lot of guidance type shit. Like, and, you know, Stigmata kind of like had some notes to work from and shit like that. And he's my boy. He fucking murdered that project. But, like, I know he had some guidance and shit like that, and maybe was led a little bit of the way. And with Shit for Brains, like, bro, I just started that shit, and I came up with like 30-40 minutes of it, and then kind of gave a preview of what I had in mind, and then people were like, what the fuck, bro? So like, the thing with Shit for Brains I just did was like, dog, I did half of it, showed it off, and then did half two, and like, I basically was let alone to do that project on like what I thought was cool. I worked with the homie who mixed it. So it was cool. Like, I basically just fucking came up with that project, showed it, and like, it was ready for release. And like, dog, like, for that shit to drop like on Chapter 17, we did it at the Gathering. I think that shit sold like close to 3,000 copies. Like, you can't even get a hard copy no more. We sold out of that shit. And that was my first, like, I'd done a hard copy release with locals and shit, but, like, dog, that was my first release, and it fucking sold out mad quick, you know? Like, of course, it was a Ouija Mac kind of deal, but, man, it fucking sold out, dog. Like, that shit to me was fucking insanity.
So did you, I know you did, like, I guess to step back a second, you did, like, the vinyl revival. Were those just digital releases?
Yeah, so those that shit is just solo me. The vinyl revival shit, like, that's my personal EP. I did number 1, all of it was solo. I did number 2, and I had each of these things were like both 5 tracks, you know, so they're only 15, 20 minutes, maybe that. But number 1 was all solo. Number 2 was 5 tracks, and like Donnie Menace is on there. The Dirtballs DJs on there, fucking, I forget, Stigmata, Strangles, you know, the New Mexico DJs, they're on there. I forget who else. But that shit was just solo. And those were cool, man. Those were just projects I just wanted to do. Like, I wanted to do a straight trap EP with scratches on it. Then I wanted to do a hip hop EP with like collaborations and shit, and then I actually got the next project like just starting and getting going and shit like that.
Similar to those two, just a different sound.
Yeah, similar to those two. The next one I'm just starting is going to be all cuts and shit like that. I actually like, I was going to tell y'all, and like I you know, I've dropped it before, and both of us have dropped it, but it's close to done and shit like that. So me and Devereaux, we got a new project dropping. It's called Another Day in Hell. It's got probably 5-6 different MCs on it, but Devereaux did all the beats. I pretty much did all the hooks and shit like that, doing cuts. I did bridges, did outros, intros. But Another Day in Hell, me and Devereaux, it's like, I would say it's 70% done, and all of that's on the mixing side. I just kind of had I had a roadblock with the mixing shit. Like, I'm working with somebody who does mixing, and they had some shit pop up in the middle of the whole event of getting this album finished. So like, me and Devereaux have an album that's ready to drop, and it could drop in 2 weeks or it could drop in a month. Oh, like shit. Yeah, it's kind of like, it's in a weird place, and we haven't really talked about it. But we're also both like so fucking busy and got shit popping off that we're like, we as soon as this shit will drop, it'll drop kind of deal.
Fuck yeah! Shout out to Devereaux, man. That's the homie for sure.
Yeah, shout out to Devereaux, bro. Like, because me and that fool will text all the time. Like, we're always talking about this or about that. And the new project's cool, man. Like, he killed it with the beats. I killed it with my cuts. And then, you know, we did a range of, like, underground juggalos. I got fucking this hip-hop artist that I'm stoked on. You know, so as that release gets closer and closer, like, that shit will pop out. But really, bro, like, there's only 5-6 tracks on that record, and half of those are already done and complete. So as soon as the mixing gets done, like, there's a Devereaux DJ Chunk project that's pretty much ready to drop pretty quick.
Hell yeah, that's dope. Cheese House says, when does the Yum Yum mixtape drop?
The Yum Yum mixtape, bro. I'm gonna come with some shit pretty soon. You know, every time there's like a new clown release or like any kind of big event, like, I usually will kind of build a mix off of that, and then I'll split up old school shit into that. And probably the next 2 weeks or so, I think I'm going to do a live mix in the next 2 weeks. I really don't do those shits like much anymore. Like, maybe every twice a year I want to do a live mix, but like, I kind of did that shit in COVID, but I don't really want to like blow that up anymore. You know, like, I don't want to do live Facebook mixes, you know, unless it's a dope, kind of special deal.
That shit was dope though.
Yeah, man, like, bro, I did one on Juggalo Day and it fucking popped, and then I did one another day and it like didn't, and I was like, well, I'm like, ain't nobody locked up in their house anymore type shit. But when I go back and peep out the mix, I'm like, it got mad love afterwards, so it ain't no like, I ain't salty on it, because afterwards, when people went home, they peeped it out and showed it mad love. So I'm like, all right, we're cool.
And I think a lot of like stuff like that, I feel like is what a lot of people are interested in when they say like a DJ Chunk mixtape, or like we used to get the Let 'Em Bleeds and the murder mixes and stuff like that. Like those mixes that you do live on Facebook, I think that's what the Juggalos, they'd love to see, like an actual recorded version of you doing these, like Juggalo mixes and stuff. I mean, obviously you'd have to have the rights to do that, but
yeah, I mean, it puts me in a tough spot because, like, I can sit here and I can do solo material that's original, that's cool, and it's like it's from a turntablist perspective, doing like straight scratching, old school hip hop or EDM-ish kind of flavors. Like, with a lot of my solo original shit, it's going to be that, where it's just cuts. But like, when people associate my name, they're going to assume, like Juggalo mixes and shit like that. And it's to the point now where it's like, bro, I'm going to have to start fucking putting out, backpack mixtapes and just putting the shit out on my own, even if it's like the old school way of mixtapes. Like you would buy a DJ Rectangle mixtape, and it would have, fucking Too Short and E40 and, fucking Nate Dogg and shit like that. And it's going to get to the point, like soon, bro, where it's like, dog, I might just start doing these fucking Juggalo mixes as a DJ Chunk mix and whatever. I'm going to sling these shits for $10 out of my backpack. Because it's kind of been the message now to me in the last couple of years, like, bro, everybody wants the fucking live Juggalo mix on a CD. Right. So there's got to be some way where I can figure out to put that out. And it's like, dog, if I got to just do it, like record the mix and put it out, like, it's getting to the point where I'm like going to probably just do that shit soon.
Well, I ain't mad at you. Save me one of them backpacks. You and Kuma, man. Kuma actually did a whole album like that and released it for free online.
Bro, I fuck with that shit. That's I forget what it's called. It's called Hatchet Bass or Hatchet something.
That shit was so dope. I'm like, we need more of that. Like, that's so dope. Yeah.
But I bump those shits in my mixes sometimes. Like, I won't like use 6 tracks from that album, but like the In Your Face mix and like I forget what else is up. Oh, it's called Hatchet Step. That's what the record's called. Yeah. Hatchet Step. Yeah, bro, like, dog, see, I'm tapped in like that, where it's like, of course I'm going to use Kuma shit, and Clay has a couple like dubstep remixes of Southwest Voodoo and shit, and like, I know the original beat he used and all that shit. It's like, bro, come on, man, like, the secondary or like underground side of the Juggalo scene is going to do underground shit.
Fuck yeah, man. I love to see it. That's the shit. Fuck
yeah, and like I don't,
man. People like it.
Yeah, I would never do it as a mean to like, get rich. It just as a way to put out flavor for family type shit. Like I would never do it to be like, yo, fuck, I want to make money. It's like, yo, we're about to put out flavor. Like that would be the main drive behind everything, is to put out flavor.
Hell yeah. No, that's the shit. Yeah. It's fun. The old school way, man. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, man. Like, because it's getting to that point for me now. Like, I'm getting to the point where I'm starting to realize what I want to do with music production, and like with every release, I kind of realize I just want to put out the shit that I want to put out. Like, I'm not doing this to kind of like, reach this look or reach this idea of what people think of me type shit. Like, I've recently really realized it's like, bro, I just put down what I think is cool. Like, I don't even want to do this for what other people think is cool. And now looking back, dog, it's like, dude, like, it's that where it's like, man, fucking, this is what people want. And if they want Juggalo remixes, like, I'm going to put the shit on fucking CDs,
Fuck yeah. No, that's the shit, man. I love it. I love to see it. I love to hear it.
Yeah, man, and I've known it because people been in my inboxes for years saying we want these remixes on CDs, and I'm like, I'm just getting to the point where it's like, man, yeah, fuck it, I'm gonna put this crazy beat on top of an ICP song and fucking throw it on this mixtape. Like, we're getting there.
Hell yeah. Well, let me get the give me a heads up before they sell out.
Got you. Yeah, well, before I get the C and D fucking letter,
before that comes and before they sell out, let me know.
Yeah, but no, man. I mean, for real, that's how the shit's going. And too, like, because I've dropped, I've dropped some of those live mixes, and then I put them out for downloads and shit like that, just to like a select few, and that shit like hit the max count of downloads. So that was kind of the first shit to me, was like, I took one of my live mixes and gave it out for downloads, and it, like, I forget what website I was using, but it hit the max like amount of downloads super fast. So that's when I kind of realized it was like, it's like, if I do one of these mixes and like actually sell it, like, that was the real eye opener to me too. I forget what website it was.
That's the shit though.
Yeah, so yeah, man, it's fucking crazy.
I definitely wanted to ask you. You kind of mentioned it when you talked about shit for brains, but the fucking gathering of the Juggalos, man.
Oh man,
Mac fucking first headlining show at the gathering. Like, how was that?
Man, that shit was cool too. Like, so bro, we came off a tour. We had toured right up. I think the night before the gathering, we were in Wisconsin somewhere. So we come into the gathering, and I fucking DJ main stage for 5 hours, and then I go and do my party. So like, day one of the gathering is fucking crazy for me. And like the whole time, like, me DJing main stage in the party, like, that was huge shit for me. But in the back of my head, like, I had this gathering main stage shit in the back of my head the whole time. Like, the other shit was cool, it was scary, but like, I had this main stage thing in the back of my head. So we wake up, bro, it's day 2 of the gathering, and like, I don't know, man, everybody was just like not nervous, but we were all nervous as fuck a little bit. And like, everybody was split up doing different things. So I meet up with the crew at about 5 p.m. and dog, we were just like, from the second everybody met up and saw each other, like, I don't know, bro, we just felt like we were on a mission. So then we set up, we do the show, or get to the point of doing the show, and like, I don't know, man, for me, man, like, I've been watching the gathering since I was 13, and like, I'd seen people headline and shit like that, but to actually like take part in a main stage kind of headlining shit, like, just as a Juggalo, I was fucking blown away, man. So like, dog, the intro kicks off, the curtains open, and I see the whole place fucking filled up. And I know, like, I can speak for myself and Luigi, like, bro, the second the curtains open up and we saw the energy we were being given back, like, that was like, hands down, that was the greatest set probably we've played in our lives to this date.
I believe it. It was an amazing set, and yeah, the energy was at an all-time high for sure.
Yeah, bro, and the cool shit, like, another thing I take, pride in with the gathering set, was in the last like year or so, I've kind of had more of a hand in playing and picking the fucking live setups and the live set lists and shit like that. So when we went into the gathering, I'd kind of created the set list just from notes and shit like that, kind of like what I thought was cool. And bro, we pretty much played in, went into the gathering and we played the set that I had picked out 100%. Like, so that was kind of the cool thing too. Like I got to choose a couple songs, but dog, I chose that whole set list, and it got approval front to back from, anybody in our circle. We kind of showed it to everybody, and we were like, what do you think of the set list? And everybody thought like it represented what the fuck we're about. front to back. So that was kind of like, that was some cool shit too for me. Like behind the scenes was I got to make that set list, and the whole crew, anybody we told, you know, about it and shit, like thought it represented 1,000%. That shit blew my wig back.
Fuck yeah, man. Well, obviously you know what's up. You're a Juggalo, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and like, and to the sense, the only thing that can play a part of that, like now being a DJ for so long, like I kind of know what's gonna go. I do my mixing and my energies in a certain way, and like that shit, the way it hit, it just went like, you know, super dope. And then we had a cool point, super dope, cool point. Like it just had a good flow to it, you know, and everybody kind of like looking at the list, they realize that shit. It's like, yo, this shit is gonna like tell a story type shit.
No, it was the shit for sure.
Yeah.
Reno Riders wanted me to ask you about saving the day at the house party peep show at Jay's house.
So sorry, what about the house party peep show?
You saving the day with the DJ.
Oh man, so I mean, like, cause I'm humble pie guy. I try not to play it up too much. So what happened? We rolled up to the Hollow Wicked show, and I forget Hoodoo's DJ. His name is DJ Los. He's a fucking DJ. Detroit legend, dog. Like DJ Los, 100% Detroit legend. He scratched with Awesome Dre. He scratched with I forget what the homie's name is. But he's a huge name on Shady. Royce. He scratches for Royce the 5'9". So Hoodoo's DJ like is a fucking G, 1,000%. You know what I'm saying? So I forget why his DJ maybe wasn't going to show up. So I take Hoodoo's files and I got him on backup. But then Hoodoo's DJ shows up and he's cutting, he's doing his thing. He uses Serato. He's got all the equipment and shit like that. Like he's cool. And like two minutes into his set, I kind of like, I'm watching from the side. I always just watch people's shows. Like, I love that shit. It's cool. But, like, I could tell his DJ got a little uptight on song one. I'm like, yo, what's up? And so during song one, his computer crashed. And fucking, like, it crashed hard to where it's not coming back. It's done. It's game over. And I'm downstairs at the house at that point. I'm going over my own set, talking over this shit. And, like, I just kind of heard, like, through the walls of the house, I'm like, yo, music is not playing when a set is supposed to be happening. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So I walk upstairs, I go up the fucking backyard balcony, and I see the DJ gear getting carried out, and I'm like, what the fuck, bro? And people fill me in on what's going on. The shit crashed, it ain't working, so they're trying to figure the shit out, and I kind of like, there's people in headsets, you know, like aside from the concert running, there's a crew on headsets who are running a production of what the stream is supposed to be. So I hit those fools up. I'm like, dude, I have his music. We can play his whole set right now. Like from where it crashed and failed, we can just pick it up and go. And they're like, what? Yo, yeah. Like, and it's a bunch of chitter chatter for a second. And then all of a sudden they're like, get the fuck up there type shit. And I just run up there and I fucking hit play on Hoodoo's set. He comes out and, you know, we just do the set, bro. So that was pretty much the Hollow Wicked deal. Was I just like, it was almost a mistake that I even got his set type shit. It was like, you know, I shouldn't even had it. But then, you know, shit happens. His DJ equipment fucking fails. I stand there at the right time and say, let's do this. And that was that shit, man. And like, me and Hoodoo been like mad cool since that day, bro. Anytime I see that fool, like he shows mad love. Like I know I've always had mad love for him too. But yeah, like dog, since that day, Hoodoo has just been nothing but like fucking family since that shit.
Hell yeah, DJ Chunk coming through.
Man, I got lucky on that shit because yeah, that was some cool shit too. It was just like I remember like when he gave me the files. It was pretty much like, here's the files, but my DJ is going to show up. So then it was kind of like, oh, cool, like, whatever. But then when the shit popped off, it was like, yo, it's like, good shit, you gave me them files, dog.
Hell yeah, that's the shit. Shout out to Dublin.
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out to Doe. Shout out to the Reno Riders. I love them fools. But yeah, man, like, straight up Hoodoo, anytime I see that fool, he's always just mad family love. Anytime I see that fool nowadays.
Hell yeah, man. That's what's up. I got a couple questions from the chat. I did want to ask you first, though, since I just crossed my mind again. The name, DJ Chunk. How did that happen? How did you,
man, so, I mean, yeah, there's no, like, there's no real crazy story of that shit. Honestly, like, from what I remember of the shit, I was going to school, and there was just this girl who fucking, like, I was grabbing shit, standing there out of my locker, and this girl came up and fucking said something that I looked like the kid from Chunk from the Goonies. And, like, my homies thought it was funny and shit. And at first I was like, man, what? Like, but then we just kind of laughed about it, and the homies called me Chunk. And it was cool. Like, that was my, like, middle school shit. But as soon as I told, like, the first Juggalo crew I kicked it with, like, these kids kind of call me that at school, it just stuck. So it was just kind of a nickname that stuck. And then, by the time I was in 7th, 8th grade, like, people didn't even know my real name. They just called me by that shit. And then, yeah, by the time high school hit, same shit. So when I started DJing, I, like, started thinking about DJ names, and I was like, man, why the fuck would I change up from this shit? I'm like, people don't even know my real name. They just know me as this. Like, so I just kept it as Chunk. So yeah, man, since I was 12 years old, I've just been known as Chunk. And then,
so is just some chick picking on you because you was chubby or what?
A little bit, yeah, because I was always a heavy set kid and shit. Like, and it wasn't even like, they weren't even talking shit, and it wasn't even like, when people called me that, it wasn't a way to talk shit. It was just a nickname. But
no trouble involved here.
Yeah, and like, dog, I swear, the first couple years I started DJing, I like put respect on that shit. I was like, man, I don't even want to call myself DJ Chunk yet, like, because I just didn't feel like my skills were up to par. And then, like, by the time I met Luigi and all that shit, it was different. But yeah, like, for a minute, man, I wouldn't even call myself DJ Chunk. I would still call myself Chunk. And then finally the shit aligned and all that. But yeah, man, just straight, that's been my nickname since I was fucking 10 years old, 11 years old.
That's dope. I totally expected some sort of truffle shuffle.
I feel like at this point he should have some type of EDM drop that's when it drops, we're doing the truffle shuffle.
Right?
Bro,
like, why don't do you have that?
The whole audience.
Yes, the whole audience. Like, we're doing the truffle motherfucking shuffle when this beat drops.
One day something's gonna pop up with it, and I'm glad I haven't, like, tried to fuck with that yet. Because I feel like when I do, like, head that direction, I'm gonna do it the right way. So I'm glad I haven't.
Respect that.
Someday that's gonna be his boots and pants.
Verfway, for sure.
Bro, yeah, truffle shuffle will be my boots and pants, and I swear to God, I will make it as magical.
I swear to God, I was there for that, and that was a highlight for me.
It still is.
I didn't even know what was happening. I was like, "This is amazing. This is great."
Bro, I had no clue either. Like, back in the day, like, yeah, I fucked with Luigi Mac, but I wasn't, like, on every, instant update of Luigi Mac. So, like, bro, I didn't know what Boots and Pants was till he played it on the fucking main stage in 2018. That was the first time I heard Boots and Pants, and I recorded it on my phone, just watching it type shit. So then now, like, bro, Boots and Pants, like, is a part of my soul now that I get to be a part of it. I feel
so fortunate that I was there for the origination of that, what you recorded, the Boots.
Yeah, you were watching that live stream?
I was there. I was watching.
Damn.
I think I was live streaming for Replicon. We have that footage. We have the footage of the original Boots and Pants. But I was there live, and I was watching it. I was like, this is amazing. And
bro.
I had no idea it was going to blow up to be what it was. I just thought it was going to be an amazing thing. Like, dude, that was awesome. That was awesome as shit. And then, yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Bro, I love Boots and Pants. Like, bro, like, it just, you know, there's other songs, like, you know, people will make songs, but we'll still, like, joke about certain songs. But, bro, we'll talk about Boots and Pants, like, for that same reason, where it was just, like, he just fucking said a couple words, and it got recorded, and then now it's a fucking thing.
Well, if y'all need the music video of the origination of that, I got y'all. I am the original owner of that video.
Yeah, I love that shit, because, like, I remember back in the day seeing the original thing where he's just sitting on the couch singing it, and I was like, man, now we really gotta fucking do this in front of people. Like, that was my reaction to the shit. I was like, fuck, man.
Shit's dope.
I felt the magic when he said it.
Yeah, I mean, that shit just clicked, bro. It's so funny. Like,
I was singing Boots and Pants, and he was only like 2 sentences in. I was like, shit, I got my Boots and Pants too.
Bro, I was wearing fucking mountain boots and mountain pants a week ago, and I was fucking singing it in my head to myself.
I like doing it when I just feel, you know, I got a little pep in my step that day. It's like, oh shit, I got my boots and my pants.
People,
I got my boots.
People think moon boots and fucking jeans, and I was wearing like snow gear, and I was thinking that shit a week ago. I'm like, man, boots and pants is fucking effective.
Like,
bro.
He talks about Gary's way, but I feel like Boots and Pants is more of a positivity thing for me than Gary's way. And bro, Gary is my dad. It's weird.
Yeah. Boots and Pants is just a positive fucking body outlook on all sorts of style. But yeah, man, like, you know, some shit like Boots and Pants, it is just some funny, like, culture shit where it's just some funny shit that somebody comes up with, and like, you don't expect it to blow, but it just blows, bro. And like, dog, we've played it now, like, I can't tell you how many times, you know, we do this shit where people are like, yell at the DJ for what song you want to hear. Like, we've done that shit 100 times where the crowd will just fucking shout at me, and sometimes I can't hear a fucking sound, but I'll hear like 20 Boots and Pants. And it's like,
have you ever thought about decorating your DJ table like as a stage set with a pair of boots and a pair of pants just like hanging over the edge?
Bro, I've said, like, bro, can we wear boots and pants on stage for the song? And we just have other shit going on. So like, if Boots and Pants gets my love, bro, I've pushed for Boots and Pants love. But we got other shit.
It's the best. It makes me. I feel like an energy boost every time he says it.
Yeah,
bro. Like,
chuckle.
I know, and like I've seen videos from the last gathering when we played it, and you can hear like people chitter chattering as soon as the song starts. Like, fuck yeah, and like, they're so hyped for it, and I'm like, bro, they're more hyped for Boots and Pants than anything. Some of these people. I
would go out on a limb and say that Boots and Pants is his version, and his claim to fame as "Don't Worry, Be Happy."
That is pretty dope. That is fresh, I would say. And dude, like, Boots and Pants, like, because the shit was so random when it dropped, like, and we understood that it was going to be kind of a thing in the future, like, dude, I sat there and listened to that fucking group's music for like 4 hours before I found that song again. Like, he didn't really know that song at all. It just popped up that day. So then when we figured out we had to find it, I looked up that same group, and I just sat there on YouTube, and I just hit skip. As soon as I didn't hear that beat, I would hit skip. And like, for 3 hours I sat in the bunk of the bus just hitting skip on their fucking videos. And then finally, dude, at like 1 or 2 a.m. I'm sitting there, and I just hear the fucking beat kick in, and I found it, and I hit save video on YouTube, and just felt so proud and accomplished.
Screenshotted the shit out of that YouTube.
Oh, dude, I saved, I screenshotted it, protected it.
Fucking hit the screen record. He called a homie over by, bro, just watch me watch this.
Like, take a picture of the name in case my screenshot fails. And that was the real shit of it too, because like, at that point, like, that was on Shaggy's tour, you know, and Boots and Pants had happened at that gathering, but he's still like, I forget the story for him even finding the beat for the gathering set, but somebody else had done the same thing. You know, they like searched for hours to find that fucking song. So Boots and Pants, man, like, that shit will forever live in like legendary shit that it even like goes on today, that we're lucky that we found it.
I think that's gonna outlast all of our timelines.
Yeah, bro. Sure. And then, I mean, for us on the other side now, like, for me, Juggalo Life, you know, the Bee Gees fucking cover, like, that shit smokes Boots and Pants to me, but I know other cats will love Boots and Pants for life.
Absolutely. Fuck you.
Yes.
I want to get through these couple questions because I don't want to keep you all night.
No.
Cheese House wanted to know, did you steal any souvenirs from Jay's house?
Did I steal?
He wouldn't admit it. He said, did you steal any souvenirs from Jay's house?
No.
Yeah, don't do that.
No, I didn't steal no shit. I hope no, but I didn't know if that was a story or not. Did somebody steal some shit? But nah, man. Bro, that was some crazy shit to me too. Like, dog, I'm just a Juggalo. So we ended up, we kicked it before Hall of Wicked that year. The night before, we were kicking it over there. And, bro, I was just blown the fuck away. I'm like, yo, are you kidding me? I'm over here. And there's just personalized photos and old, like, dog. Like, I know what's, like, available to the public, and I know what was never released to the public. And, bro, there was some fucking collectibles in that bitch. And you just gotta take a step back and show respect to that shit. Because there was legit Faygo cans with ICP on them that never got released, and there was this or that, and it's like, bro, you just step back as a Juggalo and you put your hands in your fucking pockets.
Right, and it's like, holy shit.
Yeah, you're standing in the fucking National Museum of Art, like when you go into one of those houses type shit, and you see old school shit, like you put your hands in your pockets and fucking just keep your eyes wide.
That's crazy.
But so no, the answer is
do
no.
that.
Yeah.
He also wants to know, when can he get new Chunk merch? He's already got the shirts.
New Chunk merch. Word, man. Like, that's another thing. Like, I wanted to talk on, but I just hadn't. Like, I kind of did with the mixing. So, bro, for real, like, man, being on this side of music, you know, you look at an artist and you're just kind of like, expect the shit to just kind of come out in a fluent, smooth way. And it's like, man, being on this side of shit, like, I've had to work with people who create art and illustrations, and I've had to work with people who mix and master music. So, like, you know, I had my first art done and it was easy to get. And then, like, when I tried to work on future ideas and like new shit, it just didn't come out fresh and didn't come out what I wanted it to be. So, like, then I had to work with a new art dude, and then I worked out, you know, with the new art person and shit. And so, like, I'd got my original art, and I've worked with 2 or 3 people where shit didn't work out. And then recently, I kind of locked in with somebody where the art's cool again. And I have the art on deck. Merch is going to come out. That was another. I mean, that's just art, bro. With like actual merch. You know, I had merch come out, and then the person who I printed the shit with, like, can't print my shit anymore. So now I got to go back to old school. So, like, bro, the whole year of 2021, like shit went good for a second. And then when I went to go do like round 2 with people, the shit just didn't work, man. So, like, it was fucking fresh because I had all this like super dope shit went good, but then it was like, step back, fucking, you know, like, I released merch. Now I can't release merch because this person's busy. I released music, but now I got a new project ready to drop, but the mastering homie is fucking taking his time. Like, I had cool art, but now the art kid can't do shit, so I gotta find a new art kid. Like, I just kind of had these like 2 or 3 setbacks of just fuck shit. But now we're getting there now where it's like, I got new art on deck. New kid wants to fucking keep dropping new cartoons. The mixes are almost done. I got a new homie that's ready to work on mixes. Like, it was just a bunch of fuck shit. So I'm hoping in the next 2 or 3 months, like, there's going to be 2 or 3 complete different styles of merch drops.
Hell yeah. Dope. So there you go, Cheese House. He's begging for new merch. So
yeah,
at least
much
one
love
sale.
to Cheese House. That's my boy. That fool. He actually, he's a homie. He sent me a shirt, and somebody hit me up and told me to cut open a shirt he sent me because there was gifts hidden inside of a T-shirt, and that was some of the craziest shit ever.
That sounds suspicious.
Was there shit inside the T-shirt?
I got given a T-shirt, and somebody 2 years later said, "Hey, cut open that T-shirt because there's gifts inside of it." And I opened it up, and there was gifts inside of a fucking T-shirt.
What?
So you had a T-shirt wadded up for 2 years?
Yeah, like I'd worn it like once or twice, and then fucking
What was
this homegirl hits me up, and she's like, "Yo, did you ever find this inside the T-shirt?" And I was like, "No."
What?
And then I was at work when they texted me that, and then I come home, I grab the T-shirt, I grab a fucking box cutter, and there was like little fucking there was a little hatchet, like it was made out of gel, and then there was a couple other like little goodies type shit hidden in the inseam of a T-shirt. I was like, yo, what the fuck?
That's
That was
crazy.
the coolest shit ever.
That's dope, but I really hope they didn't expect you to find
Yeah,
that.
like, how do you-
I didn't, bro, because they hit me up 2 years later. Like,
Crazy.
yeah, so that shit was funny. So, like, anytime I hear Cheese House, I always just think of the shit hidden inside T-shirts now.
Yeah, that's fucking wild.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
But that's
So,
the-
new shit coming soon, y'all.
Yeah, no, for sure though. Like, yeah, that was some shit I thought about, man. I had setbacks, whether it was, like I put out merch, but then when we went to do round two, we couldn't do it. Like, I got my art, and then when we, went to do round two of art, it couldn't happen. And like, I put out, Vinyl Revival 2 earlier this year, and then like, I gave out all the pieces for the new project, like, way before I went on tour, and like I expected it to be done and project out by the time I got off the tour, and then like halfway through tour I realized, I'm like, yo man, this shit is not moving at a good pace. And I kind of tapped in with people and realized they had some fuck shit going on in their life. I'm like, bro, like, just kind of same shit as ever, where it's like, man, like, I'm just kind of assembling and aligning my team in the early phases of this like music career shit. Like, I'm just aligning who's gonna fucking stay in the long run now at this point.
For sure. Yeah, dealing with other people is always a pain in the ass, but especially when it comes to art, and then you have to get products and companies.
Yeah, like,
it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, you want to try and work with your homies as much as you can for comfort and just for like benefit of the homies, but sometimes that shit doesn't work out, and you have to like go further upon, working with just more professionals type shit who are like gonna do this shit because they want to do it. Like, and that's kind of where I'm at, man. I try to work with homies, and honestly, the shit, to some extent, like, I still work with close homies and like early back in the day homies, but other times it's like they don't see, kind of, because they haven't had that boost or that bounce or whatever you want to call it. Like, they still just treat the shit like an extra hobby, and it's like, bro, like, nah, like, we can be doing this, but if you want to treat it like some bullshit, like, it's never gonna blow up for you type shit. So
I feel that. And sometimes the professionals don't go through either, especially when it comes to merch.
100%, bro. Like, dog, somebody could be 1,000% professional in this business, as much as they want to be, and it just doesn't happen. Like, some of this shit is right place, right time, and the right amount of luck,
For sure. So we got new merch coming hopefully soon. Another a collabo album with the man Devereaux. Maybe even some more music, some
New
backpack
shit, y'all.
mixtapes. Who knows what's coming? And then, so what else is next, man? I know you mentioned you just did a bunch of tracks with Luigi. I know he's working on the next Element. I'm just assuming maybe that's what you're cutting on right now. Like, so what's next for the world of DJ Chunk and Luigi Mac? Are you guys getting ready for another tour? Like, what's going on? What's the future hold?
Man, so I know, of course, we're about to bounce into the new year and shit. So there's going to be tours this year, of course. Like, of course, as long as everything stays open, you're going to catch us on tour. And then, yeah, man, like, musical, live event wise, like, you'll see me this year 1,000%. Like when the live events are popping off, like you'll see me. Probably the rest of 2021 is just going to be kind of taking a break. There's only a few more days, so probably taking a break the rest of 2021, and then yeah, man, fucking dog, I'm excited. So this project that's been pushed with Devereaux, like that could come out in 3 weeks, could come out in 2 months. Like I literally don't know when that's going to come out, but so that's been wrapped for a minute. So in the midst of all that, I've been just knocking out tracks for Luigi Mac and other cats. I'll announce that when that comes. But just been knocking out a ton of tracks this month, and then also recently started the groundwork for my next solo EP that's going to be fucking all produced by mostly Shaggy the Airhead, and then there's a couple tracks with Devereaux on there too. So I kind of flip-flopped it, like always worked with Dev and shit, maybe had a Shaggy beat, and then this time we're coming around, Shaggy did the whole project, like 10 tracks, and then I got a few with Devereaux too. So that's kind of the new shit, man. Got the Another Day in Hell with Devereaux, got the new shit with Shaggy and Devereaux, got all the shit with Ouija I've been working on. I don't know how that's going to get dropped out. But I mean, dog, the whole month of December, like I've just been knocking out tracks every day. Like I forget how many we've knocked out, but definitely knocked out like 8-10 tracks, type shit. So there's a lot of shit, man, about to drop. Like within the whole early half of 2022, I would expect a lot of the shit to be out to people.
Hell yeah, that's the shit. And you're doing, like we talked about it, so you're doing a lot more cutting and stuff on all the Ouija records, so we're gonna hear a lot more DJ Chunk on the Ouija's projects as well as with all the projects you have going on. So that's cool.
And there's, nowadays too, there's I just knocked out all that work, and now I got much more to fucking get done for other people who are up and coming too. So aside from Luigi, like, who's established out here killing it, there's some of the younger cats. You'll start seeing my name attached with some of these other cats too, just doing features and shit, which, like, I'm about that, man. If people are coming up, like, in the Juggalo scene, and, like, I'll watch somebody for a minute, and, like, once I kind of sense out what they're about, what they're doing, it's like, yo, man, if you're just here to put out flavor for people, like, I'll fuck with you, and I'll, so there's some cats like that too, where, like, now I knocked out all that shit, I got my solo shit to work on, but there's also features for up and coming cats that I fuck with too that'll come out.
Oh, that's what's up. So so anybody out there in the underground, or people up and coming artists and stuff that want to get some cuts from DJ Chunk, how would they go about hitting you up? Just find you on social media?
Yeah, man, just like Instagram is pretty open. Like, you can come find me on Instagram, just holler. Like, I try to check that shit. I'm not on it every hour of every day, but, like, if you send a message, I'll try and get back to that shit. But like Instagram, Facebook, the personal Facebook, that's honestly the best way about that shit. But yeah, and then, if you happen to catch me in person, like, honestly, most of the time, all the shit I got set up has been set up in person with people, but like, I don't keep my notifications on. Like, I'll be real, like, because I'll see people blow my shit up when I check a message, and I'm like, fuck, I never saw this. But yeah, man, hitting the socials, and then I'll get back to you when I can. But that's how most of the shit gets set up. It's like running into you doing a show, and then we'll chop it up, smoke, and, like, come up with an idea. But yeah, man, like, I think most cats would, like, from what I've experienced, most cats think I wouldn't fuck with their records or cut on their records, and then they'll hit me up and I'm down, and, like, most people are surprised, and I'm like, dog, just holler type shit,
Hell yeah. Listen up, people. He's a chill ass dude. If you don't know that now, we've been hanging out for almost 2 hours. Y'all should know that.
Yeah, man, like, and that's my shit too, like, man, like, because it's been that too, where I'm like, yo, like, a lot of people haven't hollered, so it's getting to the point where, like, right now, if you do, I'm down, but after that, like, once we get filled up, I can't fucking, can't holler back, bro.
Right. Get it while your opportunity's hot,
man. A little bit, yeah, it's a little bit of that, man.
I feel you. So people, we talked about it earlier. Obviously, hopefully, some new merch coming soon. Where can people get that? Where can they keep in touch with you? Like, let them know so they don't, so they know all the haps, man.
Oh man, so Instagram DJ Chunk 801, Facebook DJ Chunk 17. If you can find me on the personal on Facebook, you can come holler at the personal on the Facebook. For merch and shit, it's kind of in a weird spot right now. Like, as soon as I get this next merch drop going, I already have a website set in place. It's Big Cartel DJ Chunk. Right now, if you were to look up the website, there's going to be nothing loaded on it. But dog, as soon as I get this next merch loaded, it's going to be Big Cartel DJ Chunk. It's already set up, all in place. We just need the merch.
We in maintenance mode right now. We'll let y'all know when it's open.
Yeah, a little bit, man. So like, yeah, it's great. I've had the website for a few months now, and then a bunch of fuck shit took place. Some tours took place, and like, I'm just one man, bro. So like, I can't, there's not 10 ninjas working on this. I'm one ninja. So yeah, pretty soon, Big Cartel DJ Chunk. I might get up soon. I've been thinking, like, I have old school merch sitting around here that I might sling up for super cheap. Like, I've been thinking about doing that, but the word will get put out if I'm doing that.
There you go. Well, yeah, definitely let us know, man, and we'll do our best to let the people know. I do want to officially welcome you to the Replicon Radio family. If you didn't think you were family before, you definitely are now.
Nah, man, I want to say thank y'all too, for real, because yeah, man, like, I'm tapped in with the scene. Like, I know who's fucking posting, doing this work, and like, I've been seeing Replicon for a fucking few years now. So it was cool when y'all reached out and said what up. Like, as soon as y'all said what up, I was like, dog, I'm down. So no, thank y'all for having me, showing love. Like, dog, I'm totally, thank y'all for letting me come on and kick it, for real.
I appreciate it, man. You're always welcome here. Your family. Cool, so just let us know. And you got some stuff going on, man, send it our way. We'll let the people know. I am going to play a few tracks for the audio listeners. I got Make a Killer. We got the Evolution. We got some Hatchet Mode. We got Cut 'em Up. So you're going to get a little mix of some DJ Chunk action. If you're on the YouTube channel, you're not going to hear any audio. So head on over to repliconradio.com or listen on all streaming platforms. Real quick, I want to remind everybody, next week we'll be back for the new year. We got the homeboy Mr. Gray on the show, returning for the first time since departing from Gorilla Voltage. We're going to talk about his new project on Mob Style Music. And DJ Chunk, you got any last words, any shout outs, anything we forgot to mention before we let you go, brother?
Nah, man, I mean, the only thing I will say is chapter 17 in this motherfucker, Psychopathic, forever in this motherfucker. And nah, man, just much family love to everybody tuning in. Thank y'all to everybody who fucking shows me love, everybody who shows Luigi Mac love. Like, for real, anybody, all the chapter 17 love, that shit, we really feel that shit. And just much love to y'all, man, at Replicon. Like, thank y'all for having me on. So nah, man, just a big much love to everybody back.
Hell yeah, man. Okay, I lied. I do have one more question because I forgot somehow.
Hey, all good.
We asked all of our guests the same shit because we're unoriginal. And for some
you
reason,
already know this because you be paying attention.
Essentially, man, you got 3 records. 3 records that inspire you as a man, as an artist, whatever it is. The one you cry to, the one you laugh to, the one you punch the wall to, whatever it may be. 3 records you could not live without. What would they be?
All right, 100%. The first one is super easy for me because it's the first CD I ever picked up as a hard copy and held in my hands.
It's Boots and Pants.
Yeah, and like, I took it home, watched the DVD, and that's what kind of introed me to the shit was Hell's Pit. So like, Hell's Pit, 1000%, whether I'm in a place of like anger or sadness, like, I can put on Hell's Pit and it's gonna cure that shit by the end. So Hell's Pit is always gonna be a number 1 for me. Number 2, like, if I go with feelings and shit, yeah, that's gonna be number 1. Number 2 is like experience, like what brought me in. Man, I might have to say The Tempest because I traveled when that dropped, and like, it just has a fun vibe to me and it's a cool record. So like, I gotta live with the fucking Hell's Pit. I gotta live with The Tempest. And then, man, number 3, that's crazy. Man, I don't even know what to say for number 3, but just for some gas fucking record shit. Can't live without, like, if I can't live without it, it's got to be Great Malenko. Like, they're all ICP albums, but I'm an ICP fucking jug. You know, it is what it is.
I love that he said the Tempest, because that is a bold move, Cotton.
Bro,
I love the Tempest. I back that. I wouldn't put it in my top 3, but I do think that the Tempest does not get its just due.
Oh, bro. Like, that shit, like, just, you know, as a record you can't live without, if there's one you just want to listen to because you like it, that's where that falls. And also, like, I mean, dog, I traveled when that dropped. It also, like, has parts to the DJing aspect, and just, like, bro, I'll put it on nowadays and I'll practice cuts to that album. So
got the party on there, right? That's when Shaggy and Clay were like,
yeah, bro. Like, I wouldn't put it in my top 3 to put on and impress people. I put it in my top 3 because I love it, type shit.
That's cool.
I respect the fuck out of that.
That's what it is.
My man.
Hell yeah, brother. Well, much love, man. It was super dope getting to know you, man, and hopefully we'll do it again soon, and we'll definitely see you out there in the world for sure.
Hell yeah, man. Anytime y'all see me, just holler, man. Just yell Replicon. I got y'all. But no, thank y'all for having me on. And no, man, much family love. And whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop. Whoop, whoop. Hell yeah, y'all. If you guys are tuned in, we're going to head on over to RepliconRadio.com for the music break. The YouTube stream is going to end. So we'll see y'all later.